A cross literally is known as that furniture onto which Jesus was raised and was hanged, onto which he met his death. But on a deeper sense, a cross is more than that. A cross is like a puzzle, it's like a dilemma. A cross is equally the same as a tree of life, a tree of knowledge of good and evil. That same tree which was placed in the middle as it was in the very beginning. A cross was a sign used to express all the reality that we see in creation in Genesis chapters 1 and 2. The dualism which exists in creation, the two pairs that are contrasted in creation, all those form a cross. Actually, cross is composed of two imaginary lines. It has the vertical imaginary line and the horizontal imaginary line. The vertical imaginary line represent all the positives, and the horizontal imaginary line represents all the things which we might consider as the negatives. So the cross unites the positives and the negatives, unites all the things that can be contrasted or that which can be used as complements. The sign of a cross was fashioned from the ideas written in the creation accounts. God created the heaven and earth. The heaven is represented by the vertical and the earth is represented by the horizontal imaginary lines. So he created light and darkness. Those things are contrasted. He created both them male and female. He created day and night. He created waters above and waters below. So he went on, he created vegetation and the deserts. He created the seas and the land. You see, those things are created. He created, are contrasted. He created the seasons. He created the spring and autumn. He created the seasons, the harvesting and the sowing seasons, etc., etc., etc. As long as things can be contrasted in pair, as long as things are two, then they are represented by those two imaginary lines, the vertical and the horizontal, which form the cross. Cross is a sign of the reality that we see within our world, both the visible and the invisible. Everything that you can see in this world conforms and merges within cross. So the vertical imaginary line and the horizontal imaginary line meet nowhere in reality. Actually, these things are parallel to each other, but they are only conceivable and comprehensible at the back of our minds. And you will see in the cross which Jesus carried, you will see that the two imaginary lines meet at the back of his mind. So throughout history and throughout humanity, these things have puzzled man. So they came out with this sign of the cross, fully explain the paradox which has existed throughout human existence, wondering about this dualism we see in creation. And that is the heaviness of the cross. Those two imaginary lines carry a lot of things that we see in reality. So a cross was fashioned to represent the heaviness. So you will see Jesus carrying that heavy cross because of the heaviness, because of the many multitudes of items that are summarized within those two imaginary lines, as we shall see later on. So that's how heavy the cross was. That's how big the thing was, but it is a representation of the dualism in creation, a representation of the things that we every day contrast. And this cross is in our everyday experience. Okay, you could be a builder. You know that a house has a roof and a foundation. So a foundation can be contrasted with a roof. They are different. So if you are a builder, let's say you are going to build a house, it will have a door and then a window. The two are contrasted. So when we represent that dualism which you are contrasting, we represent it and it fits and suits within the cross. So a cross is something bigger than we can imagine. So a cross should not merely be taken as a symbol of worship, as a symbol of religious rituals and activities. A cross should be taken as a sign that we can understand as that which represents reality. Even though one is a Muslim, can understand a cross as those two contrasted things which were created in pair, those things which exist in Genesis chapters 1 and 2, or within the creation account, or within the law. For those who are following the Torah can follow the cross within that dualism which is in Genesis chapter 1. So they come up with a visible sign that can represent the totality of all that dualism which we everyday experience.